So these are all there in the community. So they keep quiet about it, isolate themselves, shift from one village to another village, try to be clean, but you cannot be clean, and you get tired. Remember, you have to put a lot of padding, and it burns you. There are so many issues that come along with it. So that is the complex of obstetric fistula and the condition that women get. So that's what I've been dealing with.
Karibu.
No way.
Musibire muta. Mwasibye mutya. Amahoro. Agandi. Byaibo. Habari gani? Muraho. Sangonini. Kopango. Odeo. For those of you who are wondering what that was, these are some of the various local greetings found in East Africa's diverse languages. Welcome to She Center, the female podcast, where I dive into the issues and experiences that affect women everywhere. I am your host, Resti Kansime, and I am passionate about creating a safe space for women to share their stories and triumphs. I want to thank you for tuning into my podcast, and I would love for you to join our community and stay connected with us beyond this episode. You can find us on Instagram at _She Center _podcast, and follow us on Facebook at the She Center Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and hit that follow and like button on our social media to be part of the conversation. Hi, welcome once again to the She Center podcast. My guest today has been quietly doing the kind of work that changes lives. And she has been doing it for such a long time. I'm impressed, by the way. Her name is Joan Kabayambi, and she is a health anthropologist, independent consultant, and a researcher for over 18 years of experience in strategic planning, program management, and organization development. But what really draws me to her story is why, and the story behind her why. So Joan has dedicated much of her career to women, specifically women who fall through the cracks of the healthcare system. Through HAFSO, I'm not even going to pretend to say that. She will explain more in detail in a minute. The Hope Against Fistula support organization she founded over 16 years ago, and she has been on the front line of fighting obstetric fistula, a condition that silently devastates the lives of thousands of women across East Africa, leaving them isolated, stigmatized, and without support. So Joan doesn't just research the problem, she advocates, she rehabilitates, and she reintegrates. She works to restore dignity back to women. And beyond fistula care, Joan brings her expertise to women's empowerment, governance, education, economic empowerment, and water sanitation, her full ecosystem of what it means for a woman to thrive. So she is currently a country director. Oh my God, this is a handful of experience. I'm really, really impressed, Joan. She's currently a country director at Shared Action Africa and a long-term research fellow with Makerere University School of Public Health and CDC, while also pursuing her PhD focused on maternal disabilities. So Joan and I have the privilege of connecting around what our mission is for She Center and for women in East Africa. And today, I want my community, She Center community, to hear directly from Joan. So Joan, you are welcome to She Center. I actually cannot wait for people to hear more about your work. Welcome to the She Center podcast.
Thank you very much, Resti. This is a generous introduction. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Yes, my name is
Yeah.
Joan Kabayambi, and I have another acquired name, Okonze, but known in all official communications writings as Joan. So you can call me Miss Kabayambi
Yeah.
or just Joan. So thank you very much, Resti.
Miss
I'm
Kabayambi.
very happy to
Okay,
connect
Miss
with
Kabayambi.
you. I'm happy to connect with She Center, and I got so excited when you called me and we had a conversation. And I'm here today, and I'm
Yeah.
very happy that I'm here. Yes, my experience with women. I'm a public health practitioner. Studied public health,
Mm-hmm.
but originally I had done international relations
Mm.
and diplomacy. So, but then I went to master
Oh,
into public health, and my niche is in maternal and child health.
mm,
So during my study, I want to
okay.
give you a short story how I got to find or to be the founder
Yes,
of
please.
HAFSO. HAFSO is Hope Again Fistula Support Organization. This
Mm.
organization was founded in 2009. So
Mm-hmm.
when we were in class studying about maternal morbidities or disabilities,
Mm.
this lecturer of ours was
Yeah.
from McMaster University in Canada, and she mentioned the word fistula. So for me, I
Mm.
thought it was an Islam word or Arabic. So when I went to research in the night
Mm.
that evening after the lecture, I found that it was a
Mm.
morbidity among women, and there were so many
Mm.
women living with such a condition where a woman is giving
Mm-hmm.
life to the
Mm.
to like giving life, delivering, and because of
Mm-hmm.
mismanagement,
Mm-hmm.
obstructed labor, or a failed
Mm.
system in
Mm.
health facilities, they get this kind of condition, which is
Mm-hmm.
preventable. And that was the most painful. It
Mm.
is
Yes.
preventable. But the consequences of getting a
Mm-hmm.
fistula or a hole between the bladder and the urethra, so the woman keeps leaking all her life, and
Mm.
sometimes it can be double also.
Mm.
The hole is in the rectum and also in the it is it's such a condition
Mm-hmm.
that no woman should suffer. So I got interested, and my research, my dissertation at that time was on fistula, and one of the papers has been published, living with obstetric fistula. I did it in Mulago. So that's how I come to find a fistula support
Mm.
organization to carry out prevention, to link and refer women for treatment, which is a surgery in the hospital. But again,
Mm.
when this woman comes back, she needs restoration. She needs rehabilitation. She needs to
Mm.
be reconnected back to a community that ignores her, sends
Yeah.
her away, and all that. So
Mm.
that's what HAFSO was doing
Yeah.
at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's how my journey
Okay.
starts. And also, all this was
Mm.
shaped me as a woman because of the realities many women in our communities face. They live a life
Mm.
that is complex, with so many poverties
Mm.
around them, disability, morbidities around them, such conditions. Then home, domestic
Mm.
violence is around them. Most women are single mothers.
Yeah.
They have to carry their children, do the daily bread giver, all that. So that also shaped my
Yeah.
interest and in women's
Mm.
life, and to research around that. And of course,
Yeah.
my work has been rooted into one central question: what does dignity look like for women, especially those that
Women.
society
Mm-hmm.
has
Mm-hmm.
ignored? Society keeps
Yeah.
silent about. Society looks, because
Mm.
of our patriarchal, societal constructs. Women are
Yeah.
looked at as a second class. Women are looked at
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as people who should not appear in very big on round
Mm.
tables of decisions, in leadership.
Yeah.
That's how the old
Mm-hmm.
woman, our grandmothers, were. So, what does it take for somebody to come up and build? What does this woman need?
Yeah.
So that also shaped my
Mm.
my interest into women's work. And over the years, I have worked with women to carry this burden of poverty, violence, preventable illnesses, exclusion, all those they continue to, to motivate me to be able to lead, to survive, to rebuild, to, the resilience of women also has also, caused me
Yeah.
to think about the woman and the whole ecosystem, like you mentioned, of this woman. How can this woman come back? So
Yeah.
she sent, I think, is a good idea, a good table,
Yeah.
round table for this woman to come up and bring up this. So that's how HAFSO began and
Yeah.
what it has been doing. And I still believe that women, they don't need only to be saved. They need a system that listens, responds, invests in
It's
their
true.
interests
Yeah.
and needs, and invests in their dignity,
Yeah.
health, and agency. So that's what I believe. So that's
Yes.
how Fistula started,
Yeah.
and also making people know that it is not only a medical condition, but it is a social injustice issue, a social justice issue. There's a lot of injustice in our societies. So that's
Yeah.
how what motivates.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Yeah. Wow. Interestingly, I have never interacted with the word fistula, and then I'm a woman. So I can imagine there's so many people who are probably going to listen to this and they do not know. In many cases, you have to go through
Mm-hmm.
something or be close to somebody who experiences
Mm,
something, some medical term, and then you finally get to understand what it means, because there are so many things
mm,
right now that women are struggling with and we are unaware of them. And that's why when we do find ourselves struggling with these things, it takes us years or months to even understand.
mm-hmm.
So for someone who doesn't know, just like me, what does the journey look like for a woman living with fistula, let's say in Uganda, for those who you've encountered, from the moment it happens, hopefully her recovery and her reintegration?
Okay, thank you. Fistula, obstetric fistula begins at the time of delivery. You are delayed to go to a health facility when you have a complication, obstructed labor. And when you're in a facility, they of course do emergency obstetric. They do surgery, C-section, and they remove the baby. And when you're not, or when you delay, or when you go to a traditional birth attendant, there's also that concept of going to a traditional birth attendant. They never
Yeah.
detect these complications. So when you delay to go there, the baby comes, instead of bringing the head, it's breech and it tears you. It causes a hole between the bladder and the rectum or the urethra, the bladder and the urethra, where and the passage. So now there is a connection between the bladder and the vagina, where the urine comes through without stopping. That's what we call incontinence. Then, and when it tears the rectum, it also brings the feces coming out uncontrollable, because it's a hole. So fistula means a hole. So this disconnection between the organs brings that abnormal, yeah, increase and flow of urine and feces. So women either get the urethra and through the vagina, or the rectum through the vagina. Everything goes through one passage. So that is the disconnect, and that's the fistula in simple terms. So the bladder gets a hole patched in, so it cannot hold urine. So now when they begin that journey, it happens at birth. It happens either in the most times in the hospitals, or if they have gone to a traditional birth attendant. So when it takes place and it is detected that time, you may not know if it is urine. You have just given birth and all that. So for 2 days, you will know that there is something that is not normal. And they have to wait until 6 months. The medical people, then they can do surgery. But most women who are in the villages may not afford that surgery. Until recently, when government has, put routine surgeries, and you go to a facility, you can get free surgery. Or there is a camp organized, then you can get free surgery. It's also very
Yeah.
expensive to go in a private facility to get this surgery. So, and most women who get this are poor women. They delay to go
Yeah.
to the hospital. They don't even have the quick means of transport. They cannot even afford to go for the antenatal care. So there are so many factors
Yeah.
around that. But now let's get from the health facility setting. Now you have gone to the
Yeah.
community. Because of this leaking, you smell. Urea, the urine smells. The feces smell. No husband will stay with such a woman. They will
Yeah.
go away and say, I can't be with this one. Even your own people cannot stand that stench. It's
Yeah.
very, 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 it's stinky. German says stinky, 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 stinky. So, so it is so stinky. And this woman decides to stay alone. They will never go to a market. They will never go to church. They will just be socially isolated. And no one wants to
Yeah.
interact with you. So these are the kinds of women. And of course, it affects your mental health, your psychological mind, health.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it goes down. You can never find a smile on these women. And that's what I've been dealing with for the last 15 and so years. But we have brought hope, because when we go to the community, talk about it like I'm talking about it now, people come to know that
Yeah.
it's a condition that you don't cause. And there's a lot of myth around it, that it is witchcraft. It is somebody has thrown spells on you. No, it's a medical condition that can be prevented,
Yeah.
because the prevention is also there. And then you go to this community, you're isolated and all that, and many things come along with it, because the urine inside can also cause stones. It's terrible. So now, how we bring hope to this lady, because you can see it has affected her state. If she's a teacher, she will stop teaching. If she's a home
Yeah.
woman, she will be alone, either chased away in the community. You can't go to church. We enjoy this business of going to church, meet other women, talk, and you can never, because no one wants to come close to you. So that is how it is. That is how this woman is. So the hope we bring,
Yeah.
or the message we come with, is when you go to a community and talk about it, these women will come out actually on their own and say, I have been leaking. I know so and so is leaking. My mother has been leaking. My grandmother. So, for example, I went to a community in Chankwanza and Chiboga. I found 5 women who were above 76 years who have leaked more than the years I have lived. And we were able to bring them community to, we used the community participatory approach, and we brought them for treatment. That is when I was doing my long-term fellowship with Center for Disease Control, CDC. You talked about being a long-term fellow.
Yeah.
I was actually the best achiever, because I had, invented. I don't know if I call it inventing, created this model of using community to get these women from the community, accept them, welcome them, give them something, take them to hospital. Because even going to hospital for surgery, if you get the opportunity, it is not easy. You need somebody to come with you. You have to stay in the facility for 14 days in the after post surgery. It may work, it may not work. Some fistulas are very complicated, And that is also another aspect of fistula complication. The surgeons that deal with fistula are classified. There are those who are senior, who can do complex fistulas. After screening and finding out the type of fistula you have, and sometimes you have the two together, the rectal and the visco. So they have to close all those walls. So it is a complicated condition. So government of Uganda has come in on the 23rd of May 2013. The United Nations gave us a day, May 23rd, 2013. They gave us a day which we
Yeah.
inaugurated in New York for the day of ending fistula in the world. So we still commemorate
Yeah.
it and are looking at the numbers, the backlog. For example, in Uganda, we have now from the research that was done sometime in 2000, a backlog of 200,000 women who are waiting for surgery. And even all these years that we have been doing surgeries, every time you clean one, another one is formed, so that the numbers
Yeah.
keep accumulating. And we have almost
Yeah.
all the referral hospitals in Uganda are carrying out routine surgeries, but still the numbers are there. Because
In
at the
place.
moment,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, that I am supporting Shared Action Africa in the refugee settlement, there are cases there. They have never had an opportunity. Remember, this is a refugee woman. And you see the kind of
Yeah.
woman we are talking about, the vulnerabilities. She's poor, she's a refugee, she has nothing. She just has a tent over herself and a small land to cultivate what to eat. So that is the kind of women that we talk about. The very lowest woman are the very woman who is the very woman who has this kind of conditions. However, there are also women of me and you can get it. But remember that you and me, when we get it, it is identified. The
In
following
the
day will be in
hospital.
a
Yeah.
facility because of either education, access to
Yeah.
funding, access to some
Yeah.
income. So it is a different, but a bit different. But the majority of these women are poor, are in rural areas, are in settings like a refugee setting. And it is a very complicated condition. So that is what I can mention about. There are so many things that are engraved in that only hole that happens between the
Yeah. Yeah.
organ on this woman, one particular woman. So for you to walk
Yeah.
her this journey from finding her, taking her or giving her treatment, that is surgery, which is either go through or not to go through. The surgeon say, did it take or it didn't take? So now taking, then to bring her back to this
Yeah.
notion of saying, I'm a woman, I'm full, I'm enough, you get. Then maybe give her something to do, because also the period she has had this, and it is a silent condition. Women don't want to talk about it. It stigmatizes. How do you appear in a community of women who are enjoying themselves, but that's something that is in you? It
Yeah.
brings
Yeah.
a lot of reproach, to this woman. So
Yeah.
that is the condition. So it's not only the whole, it's a whole total continuum
Yeah.
of who this woman should be:
Is
healthy,
yeah. I can
psychologically sound,
imagine.
mentally, sound, and also socially, free to enjoy her, either her womanhood.
Oh my
And
God,
in most
my heart
cases,
is just feeling heavy.
these women lose that baby. In most cases, 97%, they lose the babies. So you have lost a baby, you have a leaking, You are isolated. Your husband has run away. You are so poor. You have no
Are they
food.
able to are they able to have babies again
Yes,
with this
after
condition?
surgery, but not a vaginal birth. It will be a cesarean
Ah,
section. Many women have had many more babies after that.
oh my God.
So surgery
Miss Joan,
is the
I
key
don't know how
that
to even
can
think about it.
unlock or lock that condition.
Yeah. My heart is feeling so heavy because I can't imagine living like that. You
Hmm.
know, we hear of the woman with the issue of blood,
You are so
and I'm just now,
you are so blessed that when you
yeah,
went to a delivery room, you came out with a baby. You are also healthy.
yeah,
You are so
yeah,
privileged that you can
yeah,
listen to this talk and you feel for this person. I wish that privilege could be used to help 2 or 3 women of that nature.
true,
And
true.
girls, I
That's
didn't
so true.
mention that
Yeah,
most girls who get these fistulas, most of them are below the age of 16. You get pregnant early, and the pregnancy, the conception also has a story on its own. You are either raped,
yeah,
you are either, I don't know, and then you get into this kind of condition. Young people, especially before they reach the age of, having a baby, the majority of,
yeah,
of,
yeah,
of these women that we find. And we have had
yeah.
those women who have lived long with a
For a long time.
condition.
Yeah,
It has become part of
yeah,
them. And in her mind, to change back her mind to go back to be the her she would want to be, to live her full potential, it takes a long time, because for the longest time of her life she has become isolated, a desolate, with a lot of shame, stigma, rejection, all that I can mention.
I understand you have worked across so many areas: public health, research, agriculture, economic empowerment. What is the thread
Mm,
that connects all of this for you?
thank you. And all that has been about a woman and
Yeah,
girls, women and girls.
yeah,
Like in my most of my research area has been, of course, women and the mobilities, the
yeah,
disabilities, and now like on my current work, which will maybe translate into my PhD, which I've not completed yet, but I am looking at gender. I'm looking at assessing gender and women disabilities. And the disabilities are many, like I had already told you earlier. They are physical, they are mental, they are psychological, there are so many disabilities. Even being poor, for me, it's a disability. Because a woman, to enjoy her full potential, should be able to access a few things: income generation, have some income, access health, have go to hospital and afford it, access, social life, civic leadership, the whole agency of a woman.
yeah,
Should a woman should be that. So me, the glue has been women and girls. So my research is on that. So like for example, in I'm on my PhD, my focus is on maternal disabilities, particularly those long disabilities women face after severe childbirth, and also trying to measure how health in the low developed countries, how a woman can survive, the survival rate of women, and vis-a-vis the gender, the construct, the societal construct, the gender, the patriarchal system, how they view all this as for a woman. That's what I'm trying
yeah,
to measure. And the shifting of the conversation from maternal mortality to maternal morbidity, disability, and long-time well-being. That is what I'm
yeah.
trying to connect. But also in my work with Shared Action Africa, which is also a women-led organization and for women and girls, our entry point is health. This woman, because it's in a refugee setting, they don't have access to health, reproductive health services, which include family planning, cervical screening, and also, the hospital antenatal care, and also, childbirth care at facilities. So we are looking at this woman and this girl to access health. And when you access health, you are able to come to a hospital and get help. You should be able to go home and feed your household. You know how heavily these women give birth in a refugee setting. They have nothing to do. They have little land to till. So the most of the time, and their husband, they are just in the house and producing, making babies. So how can we help them to have babies at a time they decide when, how to, and when to have the baby, to take long after, so the baby can breastfeed and get at that. Then, of course, we also look at economic empowerment. How can we diversify small income generating activities for this woman to be able to feed her family, to be able to sell and buy some small goods? Because even if you had land, you can't have, you need fuel to cook. You need salt. How do you get that? So we look at economic empowerment. How do we empower them? One is through agriculture. The other is also to be involved in business. But what can you sell when you have no capital? You have no money. Dig, grow a little vegetables around your home, sell them, buy salt, buy soap, the basic needs. So that has been actually the glue, is to make sure that this woman lives her full potential as a woman, is healthy, is economically sound, can go in community and be able to sit together with these men and voice out. And I also advocate for them to be leaders. Even when you're at the low level, there are these community leadership groups where you can be a leader, where you can be, for example, a village health team group, VHTs. You come and tell people about health. You don't need to go to school. You're already disadvantaged. You are in a foreign country, and you are in a settlement, in a refugee camp. So that is how I come. Then I do a lot of research on them to see how can they be what they want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can they be like me? To have that freedom, to have that, to be a leader, to be an influencer in society. And some of these things you may not need to be in hospital, rather in school, but you can do community work, societal community work, and lead. But also we also encourage girls to continue in school, even when the schools are not available. But whatever education, because there are several partners in a settlement that give just basic education, which is customized to them. So to me, that has been my motivation, and that is what links me. Then for my PhD, of course, I told you that my research is to connect the societal construct to the woman's ecosystem, and what other factors can bring her to live her full potential. Then, of course, I also was looking at, for example, at your organization, and this She Center, these young women, these whatever woman they are, how can we would like to see women not living in a fragmented, society or groupings. These are here, They are like this. How can they be together, to work together in a community, a lawyer, a doctor, and empower these other small young people, women.
I love that.
Mhm.
And that's where we really align in our missions. You've
Mm.
spoken about the ecosystem of a woman and empowering them. I remember the last time we had a conversation, was it last week? We were talking about this
Mm.
project that you either started or you're planning to start, where you can where there's the issue. We talked about how giving money to someone is not a solution, and it's rather
Mhm.
it's good to give them a loan. Can you please talk more about this? Because I can imagine maybe it could be a person who is heavily trying to support people who are going
Mm.
through these issues, but they are strained from always providing and providing, and they want to find a solution to that. So, based on your research, since you've worked with these people, what do you think is the
Mm.
best way to help these women economically?
Okay. We have this business. Reste lives in Europe. I live in Africa. And we tend to think that when you live in Europe, you have money. Or let's bring it down. I live in Kampala. And there are people
Yeah.
who live in Chiriandongo, people who live in Chichukube. And they
Yeah.
think because you are in Kampala, you have some access to money. They know
Yes.
that you are educated. They know that you work. And they all, today when they say, today I have a problem. And the moment you solve that problem, you have become an ATM, an automated machine to produce money. Tomorrow they'll
Yes.
come with a different problem. And when you approach people on a compassionate side, they take advantage of that. So for us,
Yes.
what we have seen now is, if these groups of women, girls, come together, we empower them with skills. You teach somebody how to sew. You teach somebody how to bake, confectionaries, how to
Yes.
cook food that can be attract people, how to make small things. For example, I like African fabric, how to sew African wear, how to knit. Then this person is able to make nice, good things and sell and get money. So if you
Yes.
empower somebody with a skill, it's better than giving them money. But because we want quick money, and I know when I tell you my challenge, you will just address it, you tend to sit and become, and that is a syndrome we have
Yeah.
seen. The same, the donors are today realizing that some of the NGOs, when we go to seek for money, we say that now there is this problem. Tomorrow you bring another, they give, no impact. Because free money, nobody makes impact out of it. Because
True.
it's there, you will expect that tomorrow you can add on it through that kind of begging, which is a wrong thing. But somebody whom you have given a hole, go and dig. This is land.
Yes.
You are going to dig like this. We have now a challenge of climate. And today we are talking of climate smart agriculture. You teach them the principles of climate smart agriculture. How do you rejuvenate the health of the soil? And then you do it in a small area around your home. You have vegetables you can eat, you can sell, and you can survive. Then I will not be able to ask every day, I don't have salt, I don't have this. Because a bunch of good spinach will cost about 5,000, which is about $1.5, or maybe €1 and a few cents. And that's good enough for you to have soap, you have salt, you have Vaseline, and you can even, if you have a baby, you can buy a liter of milk if you had 4 of them. So that is what we are teaching them. Small, in a small place, but you are able to create impact, to feed your home, to cater for your home as a woman, as a woman.
Yes.
And
That's
you are
good.
able also to lead other people who are not like you. You take away that we are using the same people that we have empowered to be advocates, to be peers to other people, so that they can teach them that I will not beg, but I will work and be able to earn.
Yes.
So the program we have is a 10 weeks program that we are getting these girls, young ladies. We make sure that, first of all, we group them in saving groups. They are in a saving group, so a community of groups of women and girls. So in that, they make sure that they have to save. So it motivates them to work and save. And make sure that if I'm saving every 2 weeks, I should have 1,000 shillings. You will go and work, you will get 4,000, bring this one here and also use at home. So that's those saving groups is also one machine that can be able to help reduce that dependency syndrome. Then
Yes.
also then have a skill that you empower these young women or even older women so that they can earn something. Then when you earn, you can buy a goat. A goat will produce in a year like 2 goats,
Yeah.
a pig. And that's how we are doing it at that very small level. But after organizing women or girls in a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in those
Yeah.
groups, they learn a lot. They learn
They
a
do.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
They learn from each other.
Mm.
Collective action,
Yes.
collective action is really indeed a very important tool. And as you have
Mhm.
mentioned, I think even when I was planning for She Center, it came from so many frustrations. The segmentation of
Mm.
organizations, like
Mm.
non-government organization, the segmentation of knowledge. This
Mm.
Miss Joan knows this, I know this, but we are all working in different sections and we are not thinking that we
Mm.
can support each other. And then the
Mm.
segmentation in supporting these communities as donors, because I would say I would say 90% of people who stay in Kampala are donors because everyone is supporting the village. You're paying school fees,
Someone.
you're doing this, yes. And in many
Mm.
cases, you support these girls or boys, they go to school, they study, and then they become a financial burden to you after that because now you have
Mhm.
to take care of them, and then they give birth to children and you have to take care of the whole family. So you've practically got yourself in this cycle of being a donor, and yet you could have actually given that money in a practical way that actually creates solutions. So I think this is a call to so many people who do not
Mm.
consider themselves donors. We know that right now we are fighting the sovereignty bill for us who are living abroad because these
Mm.
people now, I don't know how they are going to depend on us if we
I
are
don't know.
if we are
I.
supporting them. But yeah, that's a whole
Mm.
story for another day, because for me I have so many dependents particularly, and I can
Mm.
imagine without my support it's going to be hard for them. And She Center is on like we are running on at least trying to call upon the global world to help us support
Mm.
these organizations.
Education system is also changing to be more practical, more
Yes,
skill based than what
yes,
it
and I
used
love
to be.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
So
love
that
that
is
so
also
much.
a plus for our government.
Yes, it is. And I really hope that people embrace that,
Mhm.
because to be honest, I have so many people who I usually have
Mhm.
conversations, and you can see that everyone is pushing them, no, let them go to HSC and do university, but none of you is willing to to take this child to throughout the university.
Mm.
But even still, how many young people are graduating at the university and they don't have any practical skill to lay back on, and then eventually
Mm.
they go back to school to learn practical skills, how to sew, how to do makeup, because now we see
Mhm.
in Kampala the girls who are tailoring, people who are making makeup and hair, they are
Mm.
earning money
Saloon.
every day. Yeah, it's like a
Exactly.
repetitive source
Mm.
of income, because this is a need for every East African woman. And yet, how
Mm.
many mothers are teaching their children these skills which are very important? I At least I didn't learn how to plait hair, and it's costing me a lot
Mhm.
of money here. So you can imagine.
Mm.
So yes,
Mm.
I
Mm.
completely agree with that. I like the direction the government is taking, and for me, I completely support it. I know you know about Germany, and here it's
Mm.
primarily supporting skill. Like that is the most thing that they support the most. They do. I would, even when we are graduating from our masters, nobody really cares. It's like, okay, you've graduated, but people here really appreciate people who have skills. Like you have to have a skill in something.
Mm.
3 years of you learning something and studying it and growing in it is going to get you a job faster than someone who has studied a master's degree. And that is
Very
their
true.
sad reality. Yeah. So I appreciate that the government is doing that. Okay. So is there anything that you feel that we haven't discussed that you would want to discuss? I feel like we've touched on how the economy, environment, and political aspect of everything comes together. But do you feel like there's anything that you would want to highlight before we finalize?
Yeah, I want to encourage young girls that life is not on a plate that you just come and eat. It involves hard work. It
Yes.
involves thinking within you what you can be without you, within you and out of you. So
Yeah.
this collaboration, like She Center and coming here to empower these young girls, creates a space for services for these young girls, for skilling for these young
Yeah.
girls, for
Yeah.
restoration of and reconciliation. People, to reconcile within themselves. That's what I mean within you. You say
Yes.
now,
Yeah.
no, I have to work hard. I have to, I have to lead. I have to have a voice. I have to be responsible. And then you see meaningful people coming out, with a meaningful life. But I
Yes.
also think that when we collaborate in this space and become intentional, because of the intersectional challenges that women meet, which is actually rooted in the women realities in their lives, then
Yeah.
there would be something if they are told. These podcasts are very good if people can learn from them. Then
Yes.
also, because of so many problems women are facing, there is a lot of psychosocial support that is needed. And when they are grouped together, they are helping each other. They get support. And
Yeah.
within themselves, they are able to, to empower themselves. The peer meetings and peer groupings of these
Yes.
women. And then we will see economic recovery. We will see protection among them. We will see community reintegrating them, you know, looking at a woman and say, okay, if she can do this on her own, if we paired together with her or we learned from her, then
Yeah.
you will have little or less people saying, Resty, I don't have school fees. They will work together. So working, networking, collaborating is key for this woman to attain their full potential.
Yes, I strongly agree, and that's something that I 100% I agree with, and that is definitely something that I'm working towards. I have reached out to so many people, and I look at people and say, okay, what this person is doing, how can it benefit the woman as a whole,
Mm,
and how can I reach out to them and see how we can do this? It's either through sharing of knowledge. Just
mm,
today I've learned so much about fistula. I've never heard of this concept, and now I'm very intrigued and I'm interested because I want to do more research about it so that I can include it in my own personal research. I also
yeah.
personally want to turn this whole She Center into a
Mhm,
PhD project. So this is also
mhm,
an interesting topic to consider because I didn't know this happens. The only tearing I
mm.
knew that women experience is, the vaginal tearing when you are pushing your baby, and then, the worst that can happen to you is you sneeze and pee on yourself, and then you're like,
Uh-huh.
okay. So I
Mm,
didn't know that there's this whole community of women
mhm,
who are experiencing this life-threatening thing, and to even
mm,
think
mm.
about the fact that the ones, and as you said it, the people who are experiencing this are people who are in, like, people who are really struggling the most, because the ones who
Yeah.
go through it and they're in the urban centers, at least you get some money and get this operation. But I can imagine,
Mhm,
I don't
mm,
think it's that cheap or even free to get this operation. So it must be very
mm,
hard. And as you mentioned, I'm just imagining
mm,
you're already struggling as a woman, and now you have to be
mm,
faced with this whole or stigma, which you don't even have to, you can't hide it. It is on you.
You
Like
can't.
you said, the
Mm,
smell is following you everywhere you go. So it affects your
mm,
friends, no matter how much they want to be friends with you. If they don't
mm,
really know what is happening to you, they are just going to put you on the side and they say, oh, this woman smell. Like in school, we used to have those kids who had like bad breath, or they were smelling in the armpits, and nobody
mhm,
around them. So you can imagine
mm,
having to go through this as an adult. So thank you so much for the work that
mm.
you're doing. I really appreciate that. And I'm
Welcome.
definitely going to continue doing more research
Mm,
about it. See exactly also on my page how we can be able to inform more people about
mhm,
this and how it's
mm.
happening, so that I can put your details of your research and everything in the details. I'll put your LinkedIn in case anybody
No
listens to this and
problem.
they want to, yeah.
Mm,
So
mm.
any last word of advice that you would like to give any woman or any organization out there, or do you feel like you've said everything?
No, women, we can still be women, even in our marriages, even in our social work, even in where, but we need to work hard. For me, the thing is we need to work hard. This dependency syndrome on our spouses, our parents, stand. We are talking about you being you, and stand up and say, I can do this. He
Yeah.
does this, I can do this. And we can also share roles, and I also take it up and say, I can do this. So
Yeah.
yes, women, we can do it, but we need hard work, determination, like I mentioned, be intentional. Be intentional. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And truly, what you have built, what you've continued to build, it is the kind of work
Mhm.
that doesn't always make the headlines, but it holds women
Yes.
together in the most critical moments of their lives. And that matters more
Mm.
than anything and so many things. So to the people who are listening to this episode, this is exactly where we exist. This season I'm answering the question, why does She Center exist? So I'm here to create a space where women like Miss Joan and the work that they do can reach you, so you can know about it, you can be empowered to know that this is happening, and how you can contribute to the community around you, and not to stigmatize these people, for instance. So whether
Mhm.
you're a woman in Kampala, Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, or you're sitting in the diaspora like me, wondering how to stay connected, we are here as She Center. That is shecenterplatform.com. We are here to bring for you experts to share with you what is happening back home, and at the same time to also connect you to services, community. As you've
Mm.
had Miss Rachel, community is very, very important for us women. We need to come together to fight this whole
Mhm.
system that wasn't built for us to begin with. So if you want to learn more about Miss Joan's work and HAFSO, I'm going to put the link to her LinkedIn, and you can be able to find out more about her. And if you
Mhm.
haven't explored She Center, once again, please check it out. I know for sure that you will find something that you need there. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Miss Joan. I really appreciate your time. I know this has been a
Thank
whole
you.
a whole destructive day. Thank you for sacrificing
Yes.
your afternoon for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please help me spread the word by sharing our episodes with your friends, family, and followers. Let's amplify the voices of women, break barriers, challenge stereotypes, and create a network of support and empowerment. Together, we can bring about positive change and make this world a better place for all. This is She Center, the female podcast, where women's stories matter. I love you all. God bless.